The Iowa caucuses were last night, and this is why I'm giving up on Newt Gingrich. I was giving up on him anyway the last couple of days. He was already, in a dark spot with me. But I decided I'd go with him based on the fact that, people I like better were gone, such as Herman Cain. Um, but the reason the dark spot is the global warming nonsense, and it took a while. He said that he was sorry for it, but nobody pressed him. Why was he sorry? Well, it turns out he was sorry because Nancy Pelosi was radioactive. Well, that's not good enough reason to be sorry for believing the nonsense put out by the phonies that work for ABC, NBC, NPR, and CBS. You need to know better. You need to know what those people are doing. But I was sticking with Newt because, my gosh, he's got fight in him. Boy, he has some good old fight in him. And the talk about making judges give account for their decisions, that's pretty big because judges are, Democrats are trying to destroy the country. They're the little worker bees of the liars in the press. But even when the Democrats are out of power, the judges keep pulling Democrat decisions, such as forcing people to not even forcing states, rejecting states' propositions to control their borders. And judges are just saying, no, you can't do that. So that's why I would stick with Newt Gingrich. Let's see. Well, the problem is he keeps hurting himself, and he's not fighting as well as I would expect. But the worst thing he's done in the last couple of days is this complaining about Mitt Romney. Now I have no interest in Mitt Romney. As far as I'm concerned, he's G.W. Bush again. In fact, interestingly enough, Hugh Hewitt on the air today was sort of bragging or maybe just informing people about how he had helped in South Carolina or Florida G.W. Bush get elected. The talk radio people did it. And, I wouldn't brag about that. G.W. Bush is a pretty seriously liberal guy. And I don't have any interest in I knew that we were in trouble with G.W. Bush way back in 2000 when he was running. And boy, please give us Pat Buchanan then. But the media liars went on a 3-week wrecking campaign to destroy Buchanan, so he never had a chance. At any rate, to hear Newt after, he's sort of all over the place on some issues. There's the global warming, of course, let's see. At first he signed on to Romney Care, praised it, and then he didn't. I knew about all of that, but in the last couple of days to start whining about negative campaigning. Let's talk about negative campaigning for a second. This is a lie by the media. They build up this situation where stupid liberals around the country are turned against negative campaigning. But Democrats still campaign negatively. The only difference is the Democrats aren't identified by the media as campaigning negatively. If they're called out on it, they were just, the media doesn't call them out on it. ABC, NBC, NPR, CBS, New York Times, those folks, PBS. But what happens is, if called out on it, if the worst case scenario, they would say, they're just being informative. But the point is they're not called out on it. So it's just a trap for Republicans. It's like racism. Democrats can be racist all they want. Republicans, all they have to do is mention the word black and there's trouble. And it doesn't mean they're any more racist than Democrats. It doesn't mean that either one of them are necessarily racist. It means it's just a trap set out there. But the trap is only for Republicans. The same with negative campaigning. And Newt wasn't smart enough to figure that out. People have been, and this is a guy who's kind of pretty brilliant historically too, as far as knowing the founding fathers, the 1800s, the whole mess. He certainly ought to remember some pretty seriously negative campaigning. Let's see, is this thing rolling? Yes, good. So to be whining about Mitt Romney's negative campaigning, just take it, Newt, and go after Mitt. Go after him any way you want. Go after the press. Why even go after Mitt? Mitt is just a product of the liberal media, 50 years of telling people what to think. Go after them. That's the real enemy. In fact, that's who G.W. Bush should have gone after instead of the Taliban, because our liberal press is combining with their liars in the press over at Al Jazeera and other places to instill hatred in the minds of Palestinians and, Muslims all over the world against America, against Israel, against a lot of things, Christians, of course. So you don't even really have to go after Mitt Romney, but the last thing you want to do is start whining about negative campaigning. So he's losing it anyway. The whole conservative talk radio world turned against him, most of them, which is unfortunate because I still think, I don't know, let's see, Mitt Romney. I'd kind of rather have Newt. And there's a little argument about whether it was right to say the Palestinians were an invented people, which Newt did. Mitt criticized him for it. Well, golly, he criticized him for finally standing up and saying something that's very obvious to inform people. Yes, I know there's a lot of you out there that don't realize the Palestinians are an invented people and that they're murdering liars, but they are. And Israel bought the land they live on, bought it. And it's a long history. I'm not going to go into it all in this little video, but Newt had something right, and a lot of people who know better stood up and cheered when he did that. Another reason I was for him. Judges that he'd go after, the Israel comment, but he can't pull this one off. Now, Rick Santorum, yesterday was the Iowa caucus last night, and Santorum, and he even knows this, actually, he has no personality. He's got some, well, he's kind of flat, and he doesn't have like natural charisma. Newt has charisma. Mitt Romney, I don't really like him, but yes, he has charisma. Herman Cain had it pouring out his pockets, but Santorum, I don't think he stands a chance because of that. Because we live in a society where people choose leaders based on personality, and then a couple other little side issues maybe. And they also choose leaders a lot based on who the press has bashed, because unfortunately 56 million people would vote for a Democrat. That means 56 million people believe liars, except for a few of them who just want to live off of other people's money, and they're honest about it. But let's see. Dick Morris says that Santorum doesn't stand a chance, and it's a good point. And he says that instead of going after Romney, Newt Gingrich should be attacking Santorum, because the only way that Gingrich can win is to go one-on-one in a debate against Romney, and he's not going to be able to do that with Santorum breaking the vote up into thirds. So it's kind of smart to hear him say that. Sean Hannity disagreed with him on the radio today, but then he sort of came around and wondered about the strategy, and I liked it as soon as I heard it. It kind of makes sense. I don't think Santorum has a chance, even though I'd much rather have him there than either Romney or Newt Gingrich. But personality-wise, I'm not sure he can do it, and Dick Morris doesn't think so either. So let's see. Well, Ann Coulter, she hates Gingrich. She likes Romney, which is unfortunate because Ann Coulter is a real treasure as far as I'm concerned. Far improperly maligned by mischievous liberals all across the planet. She's written brilliant books digging up history and restoring truth compared to the lies of that we've been told about McCarthyism and many other things. So I really like Coulter, but I don't understand how she could get behind Romney, because Romney, oh my gosh, first he's all over the place. And did the judges, the Supreme Court judges in Massachusetts, while he was governor, forced the legislature to write a law saying that homosexual marriage was okay? Well, if you're a governor and you put up with that crap from judges and you don't make a stink about it nationwide from one ocean to another, I don't want you leading and calling yourself a conservative. So Mitt Romney is a continuation of G.W. Bush. We're in trouble because Mitt Romney is going to win it. That's what I think. And Gingrich will kick up some dust. Santorum will enjoy a couple of weeks in the spotlight. Maybe 3-4 weeks he'll fade. Michelle Bachmann has dropped out as of last night. She's basically Rick Santorum, only uses the I word a little too much. I don't mind people using the I word, by the way. It's stupid to get all huffy about it, but actually she really needed to think about we and just to play to the people who fall for, you know, the linguistic programming, the NLP, and they tell you say all these right words and you impress people, and there are so many people out there that are impressed by saying the right words. It's idiotic, but if you're running for president of the United States in 2011, you need to know, you know, get we up there more, and Michelle kind of lacked some charm and other things. Let's see, who else is there? That's it. Update, what is it, Wednesday, January 4th, I think, 2011, and that's my thoughts on the campaign. We're probably going to get stuck with Mitt Romney, and I'm not sure Mitt Romney can win against Obama, because what's he going to say? Where's the difference between them? He's going to say, what, I'd create a better economy? Yeah, but Romney doesn't understand that the press, even if the economy doesn't get better in the next few months, the press is going to convince a lot of stupid people that it has gotten better, because they'll talk it, and they already have been talking it out every hour. What's her name? Sherry Preston on ABC News Radio comes on every hour, right? Sometime during the 2-minute broadcast, and talks about how everybody's so optimistic about the economy. Sherry Preston's constantly talking up liberals, and boy, if she can find some reason to pick on a conservative or a Republican, she will. And she's a book all by herself, to how the liberals in the media get away with teaching people what to think, and it sure works. Not just radio, but it's through the news. Brian Williams and Katie Couric and Matt Lauer and the whole bunch of them. So, let's see, Mitt Romney, I don't know if he can win. I mean, how's he going to separate himself? If the economy gets better, or even if the people just think the economy's gotten better, what's he gonna stand for against a more charming Barack Obama? I don't see how he can do it. And if he does do it, best case scenario, he wins, he beats Barack Obama, then we have 4 or 8 more years of a G.W. Bush type character, somebody who does nothing. He takes you off the cliff at 30 miles an hour rather than the Marxist Democrats who go off the cliff at 100 miles an hour. It's a no-win situation. Deep disappointment, but at least it's interesting, huh? To watch it. That's it. See you later.